What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today in this video, we're going to be going over my Dynasty League, my roster. I made a ton of trades since the last video, which is actually my first video. I've made a bunch of trades, a bunch of moves to make my team better, I hope, I think. But yeah, I'm really excited to go over this with you guys. I'm also in this video going to be going over some trade targets or some also players that I think that you should keep if you have them. Uh, yeah, so if you guys are interested in Underdog Fantasy, make sure to use my promo code below, LVRN, at sign up to receive a deposit match up to $100. If you deposit anywhere from $10 to $100, you get that deposit match and you play with extra free money. And yeah, you can play player props. You can do best ball fantasy. It's a great app. I love using it. So yeah, definitely use it and use my promo code. So yeah, let's get into my team now. I think that I made my team better over these past few days. So here are the 3 trades that I made. And this is the first one. So keep in mind, this is a tight end premium league, so tight ends are definitely valuable, more valuable than in a regular league. So this guy, he has Kenny Pickett. He wanted Pat Freiermuth. I love Pat Freiermuth, but I needed draft capital for, you'll see later why. But so I traded Pat Freiermuth for a second this year, which was the 205, and 2 future thirds. And I wanted an extra 4th. He said he'd throw in McPherson instead, which I was fine with because I don't have a kicker and I have Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. So I figured that's a cool stack, like they score a lot. McPherson scores a lot. So I'm fine with that. And then Noah Gray is someone that I think that you guys should all go out and target. If he is unowned in your Dynasty League, pick him up and stash him. If he is owned in your league, try and get him for a third and a fourth, something not so valuable like that. I really like him. I think that he has a great mentor in front of him, obviously, in Travis Kelce, who's getting older. And once Travis Kelce retires, I think that Noah Gray could very easily be next in line. And getting him at a cheap price, like a 3rd or a 4th round pick, and just stashing him costs you next to nothing. You might as well do it. I think it's a good investment. So yeah, this was the trade. My first trade, which then these all were in one day. I then used that draft capital that I just acquired. I traded my second and third this year because this guy, he had no mid-round picks. So I traded him my second this year, the 208, the 308, and a future third, and next year's third, for the 111. That's this pick. This is the 111. Because he had 3 or 4 first-round picks this year, something crazy like that. He also had another draft pick, which I ended up getting. You'll see next. But yeah, this is just mainly like here's mid-round picks, and I move up to the first round. And I get another first-round pick because I had the 108 and the 112. Then, after this trade, I had the 108, 111, and 112, which was nice because then I had extra first-round picks to do this trade that I've been trying to complete for weeks. Ever since the season ended, I have been trying to get this trade done. I have been trying so hard to get this trade done with this guy. He had the 101, which is what I get here, and I want Bijan Robinson so bad, as I explained in the first video. I think I said that, but I finally got the trade done, and it is a beautiful feeling. I'm so happy that I have it. I didn't care too much what I was giving up. Obviously, I didn't want to give up. His original asking price was 2 firsts and 1 of my quarterbacks, so that would be Burrow or Watson. And in a 2-quarterback league, that's too much. So I was like, I'm not doing that. Explored other options, got more draft capital. Bang, made the trade. I traded the 108 this year, the 112 this year, or 108, 111, maybe it's 112. Either way, it doesn't matter. I traded the 108 and 112, I believe. Yeah, 108, 112 for 108, 112 this year. One of my first round picks next year. I have 3 first round picks next year. So I traded my first round pick next year and my second round pick next year and Mike White for his 10 for the 101. So now I'm guaranteed Bijan Robinson. He's going to be the pick there for sure. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped about that. I'm so excited to finally have the 101. So now let's take a look at my draft capital, and I'll show you guys what I'm working with. So I have this year, I have the 111, the 101, the 205, and the 408. Next year, I have 2 firsts, a third, and a fourth. And then in 2025, I have 2 firsts, a second, 2 thirds, and a fourth. So honestly, this year, what I might try and do is package together a fourth and a player, or a fourth, 2 fourths, or a fourth and a third in a future year, something like that, to move up into the early 3rd round if there's someone that I like in the 3rd round that I'm trying to get there. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more happy with how that turned out. And then this is my team. Remained pretty much the same. Just lost Mike White and Pat Freiermuth, and I gained Noah Gray and Evan McPherson. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for my team now. And yeah, so I'll just touch on some players that I think you should target besides Noah Gray. Obviously, someone I like who I have stashed on my team is Jerome Ford, running back for the Cleveland Browns. Next year, the only running backs under contract are Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford. So if Nick Chubb gets injured, Jerome Ford will most likely have the backfield to themselves unless they go out and draft a running back or sign a running back. I'm sure they'll sign other running backs, but I like Jerome Ford out of Cincinnati, and I think he was drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. So he has that draft capital that, you know, they at least believe in him a little bit. So he got some carries this year, not many, but yeah, I like him. Also, Hassan Haskins is another one you need to stash. He needs to be owned in every league, every Dynasty league at least, because Derrick Henry is getting older, and if he gets injured again, Hassan Haskins is going to take over that starting role. So, in an offense that loves to run the football, so that's a no-brainer. He has to be owned in every league. Someone that I originally was going to try and trade, but upon review and rethought, I think Christian Watson is someone that you should be holding on to. If you have Christian Watson, hold on to him. I know that the quarterback situation is scary with Rodgers might be gone. Jordan Love could be the quarterback there. I personally believe in Jordan Love, and that brings me to my next point, which goes along with this one. If Jordan Love is unowned in your Superflex league, even your 1 quarterback league, and you have extra roster spots in your 1 quarterback league, pick him up. But if he's unowned in Superflex, which is very unlikely, but if he is for some reason, you got to pick him up. But I would even trade for him. I would recommend trading for him. If the person that has him undervalues him, doesn't see the true value in him, I think you have to trade for him, and I would feel comfortable probably giving up a 2nd round pick for him. Not a first, I wouldn't say, and not an early 2nd, maybe like a 2nd this year and like a 3rd farther down the line. I would feel okay with giving up for him, because I think that he could be very good, and the value that you're getting in the 2nd round is going to be about the same as like someone you would get, like what you might get out of Jordan Love is around the value of what you're going to get out of a 2nd round pick. Maybe you might get more value out of Jordan Love, you might get more out of the 2nd round pick. It really depends on what you pick with your 2nd round pick, but I think that's worth it. And someone else that I'm trying to target is John Mechie, Houston Texans receiver. I think he is going to have a really good year next year. I think he's going to be someone that could be like a sleeper receiver to potentially break out and be like a low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3. Excuse me. And I think that if he's not owned in your league, definitely pick him up. If he is owned in your league, I would see if you can get him for a third. It's probably unlikely, but even like I would even consider a second possibly. That's a little much. Maybe try and get something else in return, but I would say a third and maybe 2/3 for him is probably around appropriate value. Maybe a second. I'm unsure on that. But yeah, I like John Mechie going into this year, especially with the Texans most likely getting a QB upgrade. I mean, you can't really... And he was great at Alabama. People forget that he was great at Alabama. He was right there with Jameson Williams in production. And as you see, like Bama, they get 4 or 5-star recruits every year. And this year, without Jameson Williams and John Mechie, their offense struggled. They didn't get open. Like, the receivers were not getting open as much. The production was down. So I think that just goes to show you how good John Mechie actually is, and it's awesome. Hopefully, I think he's going to be back next year. He was battling cancer, but I think thank the Lord that I think he's going to be better. I think he's actually already better, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not completely sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But yes, definitely go after John Mechie. And yeah, at the moment, I think that's it. Someone on my roster that I, am still wishy-washy on is Jalen Tolbert. I would like to get rid of him, if I'm being completely honest. He scares me because he keeps being a healthy scratch in a not-so-deep wide receiver room. So, I'm not a fan of that, but, we'll see what happens with him. But, yeah, so let me know what you guys want in the future from future videos. And let me know in the comments if you want to join a Dynasty League with me on Sleeper. It's a $50 buy-in league that I'm starting up, and I think I have 7 out of 12 members now, so I need 5 more. If you guys are interested, definitely let me know in the comments, and I will shoot you over that link. Or you can DM me on Instagram at LV Raiders News. Definitely follow me over there, and you'll get more content, Raiders content, mostly, but also some Dynasty content, NFL content in general. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely shoot me a follow over there on Instagram. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.